Coach, we'll start with an opening statement from you and then open it up for some questions.
Yeah, incredibly proud of our effort. These days are always hard. It doesn't matter what's happened the previous 2 days. Of course, seeing you at an extra inning game and then 2 tough games yesterday. So, on paper it lines up that we're in a better position. But, their lefty Mortensen has been great all year. We knew he was going to give him a chance. We've only played them once, but we've seen them play in person quite a few times, and we know how potent that offense is, especially if you get them going. And we just felt like it was really, really important to try to get out to a lead early. It didn't happen, but just to kind of keep it close. And then hopefully it would, kind of be tight late, and a lot of confidence in our bullpen. And obviously, Nick did a great job keeping it close. Wasn't perfect, but he minimized, and one ball hit the bag, and that was kind of unfortunate. But and then once we tied it up, we were kind of all in, and Trent's been dynamite all year, and had a lot of confidence in him coming in, putting up that 0, and then obviously Quinn's huge hit right there kind of busted it open, and then we were able to tack on a couple more. But these things aren't easy. Box scores and scores like that might look like it's easy, but it's not. This is a really tough regional with some really quality coaches, teams, and players, and we're excited to celebrate our 4th straight. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for you guys sitting in the middle, obviously, like Coach said, just 4 straight regional championships. You guys have been here for those. Can you kind of talk about what it's been like to be a part of this team that had so much success?
So it's just impressive. Before we got here, my class, I'm a senior here, we hadn't done that before, and so that first one was definitely sweet. And now that we got a taste of that, we just kind of know how to win in this environment here. So.
Absolutely. I just remember in 24, Ben Jones talked about how this team's going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next 10 years. I transferred in 2024. We had won the regional the year before. We won that year. We won last year. So it's just great to come into a winning program that knows how to win games in every different kind of way.
Quinn, when you recover from injury and you come back after missing a season, you're never guaranteed that moment. And so you get back to this, and obviously you have that moment today with the 3 RBI double. Just talk about those contributions and how your teammates have supported you along the way.
Overall, it's very rewarding as a player to know that you have a team around you that's going to support you through injury, through health, through sickness, whatever it is. Struggled a little bit last year learning how to kind of watch the game and be the biggest fan I could be and be the biggest supporter off the field as much as I could be, and being able to come back and just come back from injury is just, I'm very, very grateful to come back and have a healthy season.
Coach, that seventh run 7 kind of started because of y'all's patience. It seems like what really sparks a lot of what you guys do on the offensive side of the ball. Where does that come from? Is that a mentality that these guys have just honed over the last 4 years, especially Brandon and Ben? Is that kind of what gets coached into them? Where does that come from?
Yeah, I think it's maturity. Obviously, we have a lineup of a lot of older guys. It's been a staple of kind of our identity. Going back to 23, I'm going to mess this up, but I think we led the nation in walks in 23. So it's really about just kind of getting base runners. You're playing for 1 run, and then if you can tack on more, then great. This year's been a little unique where we've been able to, combine that with some power, some extra base hits and some home runs, which is nice. But I think it's just maturity, approach, and then, these guys rep it at practice every day. They will sit there and yell at Drew, our hitting coach, Coach Henry, that the machine's throwing balls and they want to know where every pitch is. So, they have a really good awareness of the strike zone. And I think sometimes in these settings, it helps us. In these settings, it can be a little bit closer to a true zone. And I think that helps us. And, trying to stay within our strike zone and a pitch that we can handle. And then, if they make a mistake, trying to take advantage of that as well.
Quinn, I'll jump in on that because you guys have actually had 3 different hitting coaches in 3 years, and to me, it seems like you've taken the best bits of all those guys. Can you talk about that and then maybe coaching staff in general and how they set you guys up for success?
Although it can be unfortunate to have coaches come and go, like I said, we're happy with them no matter where they end up. We're able to pick the brains of 3 different styles of offense. Like kind of how I mentioned, we're able to win games in multiple different ways. We've learned different aspects of hitting from all 3 different coaches. Like I said, so just being able to pick the brain of every different kind of coach and having approach, mechanics, fundamentals, whatever it is, just being able to take that and run with it is truly amazing.
Trent, it's 4th straight super like we just talked about. Why is this team different from the last 3?
We're just experienced. I mean, us seniors, we've been playing together all 4 years. I mean, again, like you said, 4 straight regionals, 4 straight super regionals. Just being able to go out there and have fun. Just playing together, backing up each other and everything like that. So,
Quinn, obviously, you had a really successful day hitting, but it can kind of come from anywhere in this lineup. Can you kind of just talk to the mentality? And you guys feed off of each other. It seems like once someone starts doing well, then everyone kind of piles on. Can you kind of talk to the mentality of hitting in that aspect?
It's so great to play in a lineup that there's not a single hole, and we have depth. We know that 1 through 9 we have a guy that can go situationally hit. He can go hit for power. You can go hit the gaps, whatever it is. We have speed all around. So I just having no holes in the lineup and trusting the guy in front of you and the guy behind you is just, it makes hitting a lot easier.
Hudson, who's your favorite player?
Seymour.
Follow-up question: who's your favorite coach?
My dad.
That kid hadn't figured it out yet.
See ya.
All right, awesome.
If you don't mind,
Yes,
I just
please.
want to definitely give a shout out again to the Hill City Howlers for having us over here. We're incredibly appreciative, to play on this facility and surface. The grounds crew absolutely crushed it, and that's no small feat. 6 games in 3 days. Obviously their front office and everybody that goes into making things like this happen. It's been a great partnership, going back, I believe, all the way to 2022 and probably before that, honestly. But we're incredibly fortunate to have people that care and want to help us. And also our administration, John Waters, Ed Smith, Holden Fiedler, all of our coaches, staff, our SID, our LHSN. I was streaming last night. You get on that NCAA website or the app and watch the games, and our product that we put out there, I think on the streaming platform, voice talent and production is top notch, and probably I would argue better than anything else I watched on there. And I fully understand the work that goes into pulling off things like this. It's no small feat, and on behalf of our program, I just want to thank the university, our athletic department, and obviously the Hill City Howlers for making this possible. And last but not least, our fans. I try really hard not to look behind the dugout and just stay focused on what's going on, but you can hear it, and there's a lot of great people out here, and kind of made it a little bit of an annual trip, and it was just pretty cool. So thank you to everybody that made this happen.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate y'all.